Alright, already back with some more Finals Season 4 gameplay. So in the first two videos talked about the patch notes, and for the most part, like just kind of went through them. But in this one, I want to talk more about like just the general impressions of the season. I got to do a little bit of that in those two videos, but there was so much to go over that, you know, I feel like I didn't get to go into it as much as I wanted to. For the gameplay in this one, I'm running medium, and my friend Detail also in this game. We switched roles for this one, so he went over to heavy. I'm trying out medium, and then our random teammates also on heavy, so you get some double heavy gameplay from the medium perspective here, seeing how that, you know, comp works out in this season. I still think it's pretty good. Is it maybe like the best like it used to be with some of the, you know, changes and like especially to the RPG? You know, maybe not, but I still think it's like pretty formidable. I think it's a good threat. I'd still probably not love playing against a double heavy comp in the final for the most part. Probably prefer a decent amount of other team comps than that. So I still think it's pretty solid. But yeah, so talking about the first impressions of Season 4, it's only been a couple days, but I've had a decent amount of time to play, and I'm going to be scatterbrained going through a lot of these thoughts in this one. So just because it's fresh in my mind because I'm looking at it right now, I want to talk about this weapon that you see on your screen right now. The pike. This gun is insane. This gun is insane. This has easily taken the spotlight of the new weapons that they've added this season, and I would already and like very confidently say this, go as far as to say that this is the best. This is the best like new season weapon that they've dropped like on release so far, and it's like not even close. The only thing that would maybe be close off the top of my head is like maybe the bow, because I thought the bow was at least like decent, albeit, you know, hard to use, but it could be really strong. But just like the ease of use of like this compared to the bow, it's so much easier to use and just like get good damage out of it. It's not the easiest weapon to use in the game, but like compared to something like that, yeah, way better in the ease of use side, and you could still just slap people with this. It's just ridiculous amounts of damage. I don't know exactly how this is going to get nerfed, but I'm just assuming already that it's going to get nerfed because this thing is very, very strong. And if you haven't tried it, or if you haven't used it too much, definitely recommend trying it and you know, giving it a fair shot. At first you might not like it, but just like use it more and get used to playing to its strengths, and you will find that it is a very, very, very strong weapon. This isn't even my best round with it. I do a lot of healing in this round, but some of the rounds I've had where I'm mostly like DPSing with this thing, it's absurd. It's absolutely absurd, and I love it. As far as like the deagles go, the deagles, so I got to use them a little bit more since I recorded the impressions video, and I'm still kind of torn on the deagles. So on the one hand, they're really cool and they're really fun, and sometimes they feel really good, but there is that inconsistency, and sometimes they feel terrible. And I just feel like when I play heavy this season, I feel like I have a much more consistent experience overall when I use the Lewis, when I use the M60, when I use the SA. I mean, hell, probably even like the sledge. I'm not really a sledge guy, but probably even the sledge. Like, I feel like I'd have a more consistent experience with like something like that. So yeah, that's how I feel about the deagles. They can be very fun and they can be very strong, but that inconsistency is really frustrating. And there's something that I'll probably run in World Tour often because, again, they're very stylish and they're very fun. But I don't think I'll be running them unless something changes. I don't know if I'll be running them much in ranked, maybe on occasion. Specifically against lights, I feel like the deagles are brutal because they can do a lot of damage when they hit, but getting them to hit against lights is just really difficult. Whereas mediums and heavies, you know, obviously the bigger bodies, bigger hitboxes, it feels like the deagles feel a lot better against like mediums and heavies. So it could be a type of deal like that too, with what the lobby looks like. So, you know, that could maybe be a thing too. And then we'll get around to the light shoddy. I'm going to try it out tonight, actually, so I can't really say too much about that yet. The map, so I did talk about it before, but I've had a little bit more time to think, and yeah, I'd say the map is like, again, I really enjoy playing on it, like gameplay-wise, it's up there. Like, it might be like top 3 for me. I still don't think it feels very fresh, though, and I'm still kind of torn on that, so I don't know. I'm happier with it overall than Kyoto because I enjoy playing on it more. but it might get boring faster. Like, it took me a little bit with Kyoto before I was like, okay, I don't really like this map. You know, it was so fresh that I at least like gave it a chance for a bit. Whereas this map I do like, but I feel like it'll be like a quicker amount of time where I'm like, okay, you know, when's the next map coming out? Like, I feel like that might actually happen a little bit quicker with this one because it just feels so familiar. But it does play really well, and I think on ranked in particular, it'll be really, really nice. I'm really happy with the amount of stuff there is to go for this season. Season 3, I didn't care about terminal attack. I played my placements just for shits. And I didn't play very much past that. And that was very late in the season with like 2 weeks to go. It was mostly just a joke. I had nothing left to do in the game, really, for Season 3, so it was mostly just a joke. But yeah, like, if you didn't care for ranked terminal attack, and I feel like there was a lot of people, just like the amount of stuff there was to go for in Season 3 felt lacking, whereas this season feels really good. Like, you still have that circuit stuff. You still have the challenges revolving around like the World Tour. You still have like the Emerald grind in World Tour. You have ranked cash out back and like the rewards that come with that. There's the battle pass, and now there's this new like sponsor system too. So when it comes to like progression type things, they added more player levels too. That just reminded me of that. It feels like there's gonna be for how short of a season it is, it feels like it should be pretty packed on like things to do. Like, it feels like I'm gonna want to play the game pretty frequently throughout the season, which I obviously like, and I'm obviously pretty happy about. So yeah, I just feel like this season, you know, content-wise is so jam-packed, and the reticle addition with like the reticles and certain weapons, that's such an awesome change too, because there's so much experimentation to be done there. Like, even though there was only 3 new weapons added, and even though there was only or there was no new gadgets or specializations, which is at first a little disappointing, I think the reticles kind of make up for it, because the reticles make a lot of weapons like feel new for certain weapons. Like, I haven't tried it yet, but the red dot on the revolver, I bet, makes that thing feel way better. I hated the iron sights on it. It was probably one of my least favorite weapons. But with the red dot, I bet I'd actually really like it, and I'm really looking forward to trying it. Other weapons too, like the FAMAS with the scope. I'm sure that's incredible. Still haven't tried it somehow, but I'm sure that's incredible. Red dot M60 is really nice. Don't love the M60 iron sights, even though I do love the M60. Having the red dot on that thing is going to be very, very nice. So yeah, like, even though it's such a like a small thing, it feels like it adds a lot to the game, and you know, like, things are very new with that. So yeah, just it feels like there's no like it just feels like there's no shortage of content and stuff to like mess around with. The game feels very fresh, and that's not even factoring in too like all the balance changes and stuff. Like, obviously that factors into it a lot too. Like, I said I was going to try the shoddy later. I'm going to try light tonight. I'm going to run some of the XP as well. I want to see the nerf on that. Like, how effective is that? Is that, you know, is the XP still pretty good? Is it still usable? Or if you want to use an SMG on light, do you just use the M11 now? And if you want a weapon with some more versatility, do you just stick with like the LH1? You know, is it something like that? I don't know. But that's what's exciting, right? Like, Season 3, I feel like all that stuff was figured out like pretty quickly. I don't think that's the case this season. I think this season it'll actually take a little bit. I think things will develop a little bit. And, you know, we'll have to see how things go. And I imagine that Embark will be, you know, a little bit better on the like mid-season updates than they were in Season 3. So that'll change things up too. Season 3 got, you know, like solved so quickly. Partially because of that, because there weren't as many like big change-ups in those like mid-season updates. Whereas this season, I'm expecting more of that, and that'll, you know, add to like the meta and shit like that being a little bit harder to figure out and maybe taking a little bit more time to develop, which I think is, you know, obviously really healthy for the game, and you know, just makes things interesting. Like, you need stuff like that. You need things to feel like that with, you know, like live service games like this. So yeah, basically. You know, let's get to overall thoughts now that we're getting towards the end of the video here. I've been kind of rambling. But basically, I'd say like pretty positive. So impressions of Season 4, all the stuff that I talked about. Don't get me wrong, there are some weird changes in the update. I talked about a few of them that I don't love. You know, it's not all positive. There's a few things that I don't like the mesh shield is the obvious one that stands out. I really don't like that change at all. But for the most part, I feel pretty happy, and I like a lot of what they did. And I like a lot of what I'm seeing, and I'm having a lot of fun. Having a lot of fun with Season 4. I feel like really locked back into the game, and I'm, you know, mostly just playing World Tour right now, and probably will just be playing World Tour for a bit. But when I get back into the ranked grind, I'm looking forward to that too. I'm actually really excited to get some ranked cash out games again, because like when Emerald first dropped, There was a few lobbies that could feel a bit sweatier, but honestly, that subsided pretty quickly in my experience. Like, it went back to normal World Tour, like pub feel pretty quickly. And that's still kind of how World Tour feels. I mean, I feel like it's a little sweaty at the beginning of the season because that's just how these games work with so many people coming back. But you know, I think that'll go away pretty quickly and World Tour go back to normal. So yeah, I'm excited to get back into ranked and to get like some, you know, more competitive games of Cash Out and the finals and see how those play with all the new gadgets and tools and stuff like that. But anyways, yeah, again, season 4, thumbs up, good stuff. What do you guys think about season 4 so far? And I'll see you in the next one.